We're shining bright, and we're shining the light on us like no other. Neighborhood Planet. Our neighborhood, our world.
Good evening. Welcome everyone to a wonderful Wednesday. Again, we are here, SmartBlackWomanTV, and we have Ebony and myself in the studio. We're going to be communicating some great words and information today. So we want everybody to engage. Let us know how you feel about these conversations because these are things that we live with and talk about. Ebony, how have your day been going, first of all? And welcome yourself to the studio.
Hey everybody. My day is going. It's just a lot happening. We're getting our solar panels installed. We were supposed to be installed today, but the people were late, so we pretty much have to sit here and play watch on our solar panels while they're outside, so they don't get stolen. But
Wow.
it's a good day though.
Yeah, that is something to have to look out for. How about where are they? Are they in the driveway?
Yeah, so they told us not to put them in the garage due to the fact that when they get here tomorrow morning, it's going to be hard for them to like navigate from the garage to the roof. So they told us to leave them outside of the garage. So Greg has his car like parked in front of it. So I guess try
Okay.
to block them off any way we can.
Yes, that can be. I have to watch it all night then.
Yes.
Well, and then if you don't have much traffic, coming through there in the evening, I think they'll be safe. And the construction workers then tomorrow, I guess that's mainly what you're going to be looking out for to make
Mhm.
sure that they're still there. Because one thing about construction workers, they can get those sticky fingers if they recognize what's just sitting out there. But as long as you're home, and then tomorrow just open the blinds. Tomorrow morning early, just open the
Yeah.
blinds, even if you're not looking out. You know, at least they think somebody is checking them out and watching it. But yeah,
Definitely.
that's a good thing. I just want to know. I just want to see how it turns out for y'all once you do get the solar panels. I would like to know what the bills are like, and how beneficial they are once you get them installed.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hey, Charles. Look like we have Charles here in the studio.
Hi.
All
Can
right,
y'all hear me?
Charles. Welcome yourself to the studio. It's Wednesday. How was your day today?
What's up, everybody? Everything is great. Had a beautiful day. Just still getting my day going. Well, still busy, you know, show and things like that. But overall, I had a pretty good day. How about y'all?
Yeah, we had a good day too. We were just talking about the solar panels that Gregory and Ebony getting ready to get installed. They actually delivered the material, but not yet installed them. So they have to play watchmen for the night to make sure
Mhm.
that the solar panels are still there for tomorrow's installation. And you know how that could
Mm.
go when you got projects, homes being built around you, and you have
Uh-oh.
I think she hit a bad spot.
kind of block them out.
Yeah.
So hopefully
There she
that'll help it
goes.
out. Yeah, that's how it works. But today we'll be talking about perception, and we want a lot of people to engage in these conversations because it's what people's perception of you are, and yet they don't know you. I feel like when you have perceptions of other people, it's best to find out the real truth about people. Although you won't sometimes get the real truth, but it's best to know that side of the person and how they feel in responding to you when there's something you want to question them about, and how you feel, or something that made you feel a little slighted, whether it be that you had the wrong perception of the communication. So these are things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and it causes a lot of, I guess, a lot of confusion, and sometimes reckless behaviors because of a person's perception of how they feel about a person. It kind of have a um, it kind of spreads, it spreads like a disease, and it can go from one person to the next only in someone's misperception of you. So we want to talk about that, and hopefully, we can get some of you to engage in our communications too. Charles, you had some comments about that yourself, you and Ebony. So what do you want to add to the to talk to people about?
Okay.
I've been where perception worked against me because, for example, you can have a situation where you can be a good guy or a good girl or female, and but however, someone can say something negative about you because they were upset with you, whatever, but they could have shared that with a friend of theirs, and that friend that they share that negative experience with can perceive you have the wrong idea about you, and be to have a certain perception that's not fitting of you, or that's unfair.
So, Charles, we have you in a bad spot somewhere because you're coming
You
in
can't
and
hear
out.
me?
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Uh-oh, let me see.
I hear you now. Can you
Right, I
hear
saw
us?
Ebony's face. She was like,
I was like trying to.
Yeah, so of course, Charles, I understand
wait,
what you're saying. That you can share some communication with someone,
let me
and they can be
see.
angry at you and talk and speak on how they felt about the communication with you, and another person can get the wrong impression of who you really are. Also, as you communicated that, I do see that very well in people where you can communicate with them and they can get the wrong perception of you as an individual. Also, what goes on is when people are out partying. Have you noticed when some people are out partying? Let's say it's a woman and she get really trashy drunk that day. It's her birthday, but she got so drunk and wasted. But the next day, they look at you and there's a different perception of what they have in you. And now you're looked at a totally different way, but yet you can walk in there the next day sober as ever. And throughout your life, throughout your communication with them, always be sober. But they'll always have that perception of you just being an alcoholic. Or what, so that's something that too, people tend to have perceptions of people when they're partying and they're drinking, or people, they tend to have a different perception of you if you've gone through something in your life, a mental challenge, or let me say a behavior challenge at that point. If you're in some situation and you're arguing with a person and you just go off real loud, and then people think different of you, but you are not that. It's just that sometimes you try to get points across, and a person can have a different perception of you from there on out. Have y'all had those type of experiences?
Yes, I have in my
Yeah.
military career.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
was it your own experience?
It was my soldiers experience. It was a female that worked where, so I was an NCO, And every section she would go to, she would just like act out, cut up, argue with people. And they moved her to my section. And when they
Uh-huh.
finally moved her to my section, I didn't get that from her because I treated her like a human. I didn't let what I seen her do interrupt how I will perceive her. And when she came
Right.
to my section, when I treated her like a human being, she was a totally different person from me.
Yeah. See, and you was
Right?
like, no, I don't know her like that, right? I don't know her like that.
She was respectful and everything. And I was looking like, I don't get what y'all are getting. Maybe y'all
Uh-huh.
should treat her, stop looking at her, how the way she looked, and just treat her like a human. And I was like, I got a totally different vibe.
Right. And that's how life is. But you know what? Some people, it's so many that love the drama part of it, So, there's so many people that love drama and love that toxicity around them, and spread it, it's though they can't have a normal, humble life and happy life. It's always something negative and
Mm.
toxic that has to go on to it. Even with people in relationships that you have relationships with certain people, and that relationship with that person, that person may be out there saying that, oh, he's this, he's that, or she's this, he's that, and then and this goes on too with communications that I don't like. I had that type of communication where I was told, "Oh, he's this, he's that, he did this, he did that, and he did that," and I said, "Well, that's strange because I never got that out of him." So your perception, my perception of him is not that. Everybody don't have the same experiences as others, and people tend to look at a lot of different things in different ways, and it comes in people, and you have to be, and to me, I think the best way to communicate those things is to treat people as they treat you, treat people the way you want them to treat you, and not have yourself in a situation where if someone is perceiving you to be a different person, then it's your own communication with that person that you need to go off of, right?
That's right.
Right?
You're right.
Well,
It's definitely right.
I understand that. I understand that thought process, but you know what? At this point, I tend to not even think about other people's perception because you know what? I think when it comes to perception, it depends on a person's mindset. It depends on the person that raised that person, that child. It depends on a lot of different variables when it comes to a person's
Factors.
perception. So
Yeah.
I can't. You can't control persons how a person can perceives you. You can't even do
Yeah.
it. So I just let people think whatever they think, and don't even stress about it. Don't think twice to correct them. No, I'm not a hoe. I used to be a hoe. No, none of that. If you think I'm
If you think I'm a hoe,
yes,
then
keep it going.
period.
Because even when it comes to a perception of being a hoe, some people perceive a hoe as I would never talk to them. They can't be faithful, and you never know. And the other person is like, oh, I bet you they probably fun to hang around, and the other person want to hang out. So it's all about their
Yeah.
perception of you. So
Hmm.
somebody may not like you, but best believe somebody
That's
out there
true.
gonna love you. So
That's right.
I,
I get it, Charles. I
I like that.
understand that.
I like that one.
That was a good one. It may have sounded a little like shaky, but that was a good one.
my bad, y'all. I'm sorry if y'all have never been called a hoe. Then I'm sorry. I
Right.
have, okay?
And that is true, and that does come out, in relationships and communications with how what you have come in contact with or what you've done, and it's all actions, at the end of the day, and how people perceive you as a person, And then you're still a good person. Doesn't make you, as you say, Charles, doesn't make you a hoe because you did something a little bit different,
Right.
and
Right.
and you get that a lot. And then as women, we us as women tend to, if you go out and you're hanging out or you're at a bar or something like that, and you leave with that person, the first thing everybody would look at, oh, she must be a hoe, you know. And no, maybe she just wanted a ride, and she got a ride, and she went home, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't
They
know what
dropped
happened.
off, and that was it, you know. But what
Or
people would,
maybe
why
she
she get in
hasn't
the
had,
car with
maybe
him?
has she had,
Say that again, Charles.
maybe she had none in like a year, you know?
Hey, it be
Yeah,
like that.
right. Whatever it is, right. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's her
She ain't no
wanting,
hoe.
to fulfill her needs. Yeah, yeah. So, that's a lot of different things, and ways of looking at things. Even, with communication with family members and things like that, I think, mainly, I think when it comes to family members, I think you should try to reconcile those situations best you can. But sometimes it's a shut door. And if it's a shut door, it's just, there's nothing really you're going to exhaust yourself to continue to do. And sometimes you just have to move on, and step back quietly and just let it play out the way it is.
Yep.
And sometimes it's just that, you know.
Right.
So those are things. And then, you know what, one thing about perception, it carries a lot of jealousy and a lot of jealous hearts that are also involved in it. Being jealous of someone is, why? Yeah, unnecessary. It's so unnecessary to be jealous. We all God's children. We're all beautiful people. Why can't we all try to get along or get along with each other and look positive? Look more positive in the outcome of life and the happiness of life. A lot of people always say, I'm happy, you know, or and what's that line everybody always use, about them being happy
Blessing.
yet highly favored. I'm blessed and highly favored, but highly favored meaning what? What does that mean? What does that mean to others? You're highly favored. Yes. Okay, you're highly favorable. What are you doing with your highly favorism, to spread that? Because we all need that
Yeah.
kind of outcome and communication. Yeah. So I want to
You can,
go, I'm happy. I'm happy. They share this different
I can't hear
feelings
you.
and jealousy. Can you hear me now?
No,
Can you hear me
No.
now?
a little bit.
Really? Okay, let
Yeah,
me get out of the.
it's like robot-y.
Can you hear me now? You still don't hear me?
You breaking
I
up a
hear
little
you.
bit.
Can you hear me?
We
Yeah,
can hear you.
I can.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, good. So yeah, these are things. And Charles, you were talking about other things, other things that are connected to perception and how people um feel about different, how people have different opinions about things, and it had something to do with Kanye. And you wanted to comment about that. Can you let us know about that?
Right. And I think a lot of people have a lot of, well, they're putting them passing a lot of judgment towards Kanye, and I think, you know, no one knows what that man is going through right now, what he's fighting up against. Nobody knows any of that. No one knows the truth behind everything. But I feel like everyone tends to put their 2 cents in, not knowing exactly what the situation is, and that can be a tough situation or a tough place for Kanye himself. But I think he knew what to expect before he started this. So I think he all right. He'll be all right. And I think it's really important for us to kind of stick behind one another, stick beside Kanye instead of fighting against him. It's easy to fight against everybody. That's the trend, is to fight against everything and have your own opinion. Hey, I'm all for it. However, this is a man's livelihood, and I saw some posts today where they said that Kanye is no longer a billionaire since
Yep.
Nike dropped him. And a lot of people were laughing behind things like that. And I just think it's not a funny situation or I never tend to laugh at anyone else's misfortune. I only want to see people rise and grow and create new opportunities for other people like me, So I stick beside him. I know he'll be all right, and I think it's a great opportunity for him to grow and expand his business, expand his brand, and help the people that he actually want to help instead of making the rich richer, What you think, Ebony? I see my mom. She's still in the hallway sitting there, and I doubt she's still in the hallway. So
So a lot of people's perspective on
I can't hear
Kanye
you.
changed. You can't hear me for real?
I can't
Can you hear me?
you. What's going on?
What? My
What
mic is on.
happened?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You can't hear
Now
me?
here you go.
Oh no, I can't
Yeah,
hear
I hear you.
anyone. I can't hear
I
either
see
one
you
of
too.
y'all. Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's
what?
not you. It's me.
Can- oh
I
God.
can't hear you.
Really?
Okay, we're in and out of the studio.
Can you? Oh Lord. You can't hear me?
Right. Everybody all messed up with audio. I can't hear you.
What? My mic on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Say something. Say
Hello?
something.
Hello?
Oh, you heard me, but I can't hear you. I can read your lips. You can read sign language. Sign language.
I don't know what's going on. Oh Lord. Hello? Is it my
Okay,
mic? Is
let's
it?
see something. Hold up.
Can you hear me?
Hold the conversation until I get back, Ebony.
Ebony, I
Okay.
do hear you. Can continue to talk.
Oh, so she okay. Okay, so I feel like until Charles get back,
Mhm.
everybody's perspective of Kanye changed, when he, married Kim Kardashian. A lot of people feel like he went against us. They feel like he went against us. So
Okay.
once they developed that perception of Kanye, a lot of people was praying for that man downfall from the beginning. And
Yes.
it's starting to show now. Oh,
Right.
he lost his deal. They laughing. Oh, he lost his deal. They laughing. I'm looking. It's not a laughing matter. I'm pretty sure Kanye planned this. That man is smart. He may say some weird things, but he is not stupid.
Right.
He's not a stupid person.
Hmm.
So a lot of people was praying on this man's downfall, and now that he's actually fallen to them, I don't think he's fallen. I think he about to
Right.
rise out of nowhere. A lot of people will see him fall and they think it's a joke. So
Right. Yes, I feel that too, Ebony. I mean, I have the same vibe as you have when it comes to Kanye. I mean, you know what? The guy's a smart guy, and the reason why a lot of people dislike him to me is because he is outspoken, and
very.
he doesn't shy away from anything he wants to speak about, and he speaks his mind. Other than others, they're afraid to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
He tells it like it is, how he feels, things like that, and people are uncomfortable because they're uncomfortable with him being that strong man that he is. I feel he's a strong, powerful guy, and for that reason, he's being kicked down. Yeah, he's being kicked down in our communities, where our communities, I feel, are being ignorant to the fact that we have to speak. On behalf of what we believe in, and what's been continued to be um, talked about when it comes to us and us as blacks, and a lot of people feel as though when you do speak up and you speak out, there's an issue with it, especially when you're
Mm-hmm.
a strong and powerful person and not illiterate.
See, when you're illiterate, they want to put you in the news and they want to have you there on worldwide news in the morning show and evening. Okay.
Crazy.
But when you're strong and powerful and you're not a dummy, and then here it is, you want to share the news of the negative voices that come behind you because they want to take away what you have gained in your life. No one can take away what Kanye has gained, and they believe it because they try to take away success when it comes to a black man. And I've seen it time and times again, where a successful black man, even though he's become successful, he's gotten with a white woman. And then once he starts to do even the smallest things, he's put on the higher platforms. Okay, look at the difference between what Dwayne Wade went through having a black woman. Okay, when that black woman spoke up about a lot of things that she was going through when it came to her own children that she birthed, they didn't give her the attention that really was needed as a mother, but they gave it to him and another woman. Okay, and they wanted to look like that. They wanted to make that black woman look like she was the problem in it all. But yet, when it's a white woman, look at OJ and what took place with OJ. Okay, OJ, he was way up. OJ was running through airports. OJ was the star and the king of kingdoms when it came, during that time he was with Nicole. He was everything to them. But once something happened, and then because he was with a white woman, and then now they destroy him, as well as Tiger Woods. Look at those different things and what goes on with those men when it comes to white women and their surrounding and speaking up once a black man becomes successful around them. They became successful on their own. Okay. OJ, Tiger Woods, Magic Johnson when he was out there doing what his whatnots. Bill Cosby when he was out there doing his whatnots. You got this big platform of hurtful, women, things like that, everything that goes on. But yet you have to understand that we continue to rise, but we have to stick together until we know full stories of the one who really needs to speak up, and let us know what the problem and the stories are. Not have such a perception of someone so strongly and speak on behalf of it to include yourself in the drama and gossip that goes on about Kanye. Yet I wouldn't speak so highly and different about him when so many times we've been spoken about, but yet it goes nowhere. So we do have to eliminate this kind where we're dealing with a black white issue. No, there are situations that we all go through, whether black, whether white, right? It's just our perception of how we look at things and how we comment about different things. Everybody have different views and opinions about things, but yet until you hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and then, comment, right. Speak to him directly. I'm sure he will answer many questions.
I think we're stronger together versus separately. It's a situation where we can show the big businesses who's really in charge. I think the consumers are always in charge, and we've always talked about taking back the power of the consumer versus the seller or the big business that's there providing the services that we feel like we need. I think we're more in control than they are, and it's a perfect opportunity to take back the power that we really have in ourselves, you know. So it's one of
Exactly.
those situations where I can't wait to see how it folds out. But at the end of the
I
day, we still got
know.
to stand behind one another, no matter what, you
Exactly.
know. And even in our own personal situations at home, I think that's how I'm able to operate with or make a decision on this situation is just by having the same morals in my household, you know. I live by the same way, the same rules, you know, and whatever I believe in, I stand behind it and I try to keep it going, and I'm not a bandwagoner. I don't just jump on the bandwagon because I see other people on it. No matter what the situation may be, if that's how you truly feel in your heart, stick with it. You know, don't let anyone deter you or change your mind about things that you truly believe in. Just like you think he's a good person, he still is a good person. Not what you hear. I think the media has a way to make things worse, sound worse than what it truly is. So if we can all kind of and you never know why this is happening, you know. And here in St. Louis, I tried not to talk. I didn't want to talk about the fact that we had a shooting or the day before yesterday where two were killed in the school here, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's been a big deal here in Louis because we've St. Louis is not very big, you know, and we've seen it on TV and in other states, but we finally see it in our own backyard. So I think it hit the city in a different way this time, and it sucks that in situations like this, and losing a teacher and things like that. But I'm not gonna say but. It sucks that we had to lose a teacher and a life, two lives because of this, you know. But we try to move forward and make the right decisions going forward. It's sad. Rest in peace to the lives that were lost and the children that were affected by the situation. Also, hopefully, everyone gets everything they need in order to move forward. Um, I know a lot of kids haven't been able to attend school, and they didn't go feel like they wanted to go back and things like that, which is understandable. It's a sad situation. We're definitely in a place where we don't feel safe anywhere we go anymore. As soon as we leave our homes, it's like okay, you put on your armor, you know, protective armor. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know what we can do as a people to make it better, but I just know that going against one another is not the answer. Keeping it
Right.
to we and we're stronger in numbers, so I try to stick with that motto.
Right. Yes. I feel the same way. Ebony, how do you feel, about the schools and what goes on, with schools and shootings when you hear that and having small children that you are sending to school expecting just the education and being happy and having a productive life, a productive education as well. How do you feel about that?
It's kind of terrifying because my son is literally in second grade.
Hmm.
So it's kind of terrifying because we had a teacher here in Polk County. It was a male. They pretty much had like a little icy stand, and he would come sell ices to the school, and he was um sexually harassing and assaulting the students there, and they didn't even know it.
Hmm.
So it's really nerve wracking when you hear stuff like this because it's like, how do I shield my child and how do I save my child? But you can't be there every second of the day with your child. So it
Exactly.
comes to a point where like,
Right.
what are you doing? What is the safety measures? That's when I start asking questions like, what are y'all trying to do to keep the students and the faculty safe? Because now it comes to a point, like Charles said, you can't even walk out your own house no more without
Mhm.
feeling like you have to be on guard. And for me to
Exactly.
know that of my child, and he's just a kid, he's not thinking about that, is really nerve wracking. Very
It
nerve
is.
wracking.
It is. It is, and I'm sure it is, and I'm sure it is. It's very uncomfortable for a lot of parents, and especially in surrounding school areas and public schools. There are different. It doesn't matter where you are. You can be in the best of schools, and some of them also have had shootings, unfortunately. But we have to try to maybe we need the children to walk just like you hold your hands up, you go to the airport. The kids have to go through
Right.
those safety things, make sure that they're going to be everybody who enters that building is shielded, you know, and there got to be a line of protection. Some of these students, he probably just a regular student. I didn't see the news of who it was, but he probably
They,
just walked in.
the child broke into school.
Oh yeah, it
He
was a
broke.
19-year-old girl, and she just graduated from that
The
school.
boy.
Oh, it was a boy.
He's a
They just
boy. It was a
graduated
19
from the
years old boy.
school.
And it's sad.
Right. And he busted the window out. He busted the door window out in order to get in. So he broke in just to shut the school, and it seems like he only killed two people, so it's almost all, it seems targeted,
That's what
like
I,
a
yeah.
targeted situation,
I
which,
think he targeted
yeah.
that teacher probably.
And it's like, huh?
It's unfortunate, that it happened. I just look at, every incident that happens in the schools. There's a safety measures that need to be taken and in place. As you say, he broke the window where there will never be another window that he can break, because just like the hurricanes, we put up hurricane windows. The funding that we get from the government, we can use that funding to change all lower windows in the school areas, so that when we do have cases like that, that has happened. Now we have to add it to the school's funding to change all the windows and make them strong enough, powerful enough as you possibly can, I guess, to get it to the point where they just can't shoot the window and try to get in. They just can't get in. The building needs to be totally locked down. Different safety measures have to take place. Unfortunately, this can happen anywhere. It can happen in stores. It can happen on the street. It can happen anywhere. We just have to be more alert to our surroundings. And it's sad that we have to live amongst that right now. But as we say and we communicate, perceptions of people, and how we communicate in our homes, and how we speak to our children, our family members, we want to try to eliminate as much as possible. We are in control of what we do in our lives. If we do things differently, in more positive way, you're going to get what you put in is what's going to come out. And that's something what we have to spread more love amongst each other. It's not about all the negativity and the bickering and the fighting against, and the deceiving one another. You have to find love enough to combat all these issues that are going on. It starts in the home. What is your communication in the home? As my boys were growing up, I talk about different situations that they're going to come in contact with growing older as they get older. And when they get older, they are strong enough to be able to recognize certain things. They fail, go through that failure or that hurt, but to come back and be much stronger, which is really good. Which is something that we all have to go through in life. So if we can put out more
Right.
positive energy, and this is something we try to spread love as much as possible. We can wear all these loving shirts. We can wear all these memory shirts, rest in peace shirts. We can do all of that. But also, as you love that person, and as you try to spread that love, you want to spread it as far as you can get it, because the shootings have to stop somewhere. It seems as though the guns are going to continue to be out here. So therefore, we want to make it to the point where people don't really even carry them anymore.
Right.
Right?
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. And having like something like a competency, or I almost messed up that word. Like, we don't know if these people are competent enough to hold a gun. No, but seriously,
Mhm. Yeah.
you never know what a person has experienced and what kind of trauma they have. And some people are, unfortunate. I know that you are a veteran. You have a lot of veterans that sometimes they don't realize they back at home,
Yes.
And you got that gun like you still over in Afghanistan when you at Shop and Save or at the grocery store, and I think that a lot of situations are like that, and it's sad because a lot of those people need help, and a lot of the situations that we're in the world today, they kind of all boil down back to your mental health, and
Yes.
majority of these people aren't seeking help, and there's no one making them get the help, and
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, police around and the government and a lot of different forces around us making us to do certain things, but they're not making us to do things that are good for our health, like eat healthier, make us exercise. They're not making us seek mental health in order to provide a healthy environment for everyone to just walk around. Just like you have to have a driver's license in order to drive a car, you should have to have some kind of license in order to walk around and saying that you have a sound mind. Because a lot of these people walking around are kids, teaching our kids at schools, driving our
Mm-hmm.
school bus. Some of them don't have the mental capacity to be there to have our children's lives in their hands. So I think that this time is very special to me because I think a lot of things are kind of evolving and changing for the society that we live in versus just living in a society with these rules that no longer fit the world that we're currently living in or that it's evolving to anyway. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm excited to get a positive outlook on everything's happening for the better. I know that the bad things are happening also, but I try to keep a positive mindset and keep going from a positive standpoint. I always have uh, put like a positive thought in my head and say that things are going to be better someday versus looking at the problems only and kind of sitting in those problems.
Yeah. And I think, your experience, Charles, enlightens me a whole lot about change and what other people can do. You weren't beyond anything that anyone else can't do. And it's make change in their lives and look at life differently. Start to look back at yourself. Start to pray and think about that and not take everything personal, as though it's a personal attack, and no one is exempt
I
from
agree
that.
with
No one is exempt from that. A lot of people have problems with their children, can't communicate with them, they're young. They're going through anger issues, not able to communicate it to sometimes their parents. Sometimes these children need to speak to someone else, maybe. Sometimes it takes a different voice for a person to hear in order to get that that message across. And if it's needed, that is what's needed. And the therapists are out there. They have online therapists for children and also adults. Whatever your case may have been, whatever hardships that you've gone through in life, whatever abuses you've gone through, there are therapies that are able to come and combat that and experience that. Yes, Charles? Oh, he said, wait a minute, he'll be back.
I think he did. That's why I was like, he instantly disappeared. I was like, what?
So yeah, Ebony. So you being in the military, I know there were a lot of situations that went on with a lot of anger, because you were amongst a lot of your peers, and I don't know how the barracks are when it comes to military housing. Do they put you with your peers? Are you with an older adult, or do they kind of put everyone in with the line of ages and things like that? How
Um,
is
it, they just put you where they got room.
Okay. So you can
So,
easily be roomed with a much older person then.
and yeah, half the time, a lot of much older people will get rooms with an underage person,
Oh, okay.
19 years old, 18 years old, and that will cause a lot of conflict.
Is there reasons for that? That they would request that? Is it because they want that younger energy? Is it because they want to help that person to succeed in the military? What do you think
No.
that from?
Half the time they just put you where they got space.
Mm.
You'll complain, but if they don't have no space to move you nowhere else, you're gonna stay where you're at. They just they just put you somewhere.
And
Unfortunately,
you were in the military how many years?
9.
What can you say were the positive things you got out of the military?
The positive things I got out of the military was one, it helped me grow up. I got in at like 18, and it helped me grow up a lot. It helped me pretty much become independent. Also, another positive thing is I got to meet different people, different backgrounds. I'm a curious person, so I used to ask them about, the culture. I got to experience different cultures because I got to go to different places. So that's
Mhm.
the one of the positive things was being able to move around and experience different cultures.
One thing about the military, I thought that when people go into the military, they're a little bit more subtle in their communication when they come out and they speak to other people that want to know about being a veteran or being in the military. I felt that a lot of youngsters may need to go there in order to get a discipline. Do you feel that that'll be a good idea for more youngsters out of high school go over into the military for the discipline?
Back then, I'm only speaking for the army. Back then, yes. When I got in 2013, discipline was instilled. I mean, to the T.
Mhm.
One of the main reasons why I got out is that the discipline has left. There is no discipline.
Okay.
Respect is gone. So, as of right now, I would not advise a young person to do that. I would not.
Yeah, but what about military as far as a board of the military? You've gotten out of the military, but you found things that you think was something that you took from the military that was good for you, that probably can help our youngsters today, because sometimes we need others in therapist areas. People don't tend to go to many of the local therapists that are available to them. Maybe in
Hmm.
the military, we can drift off or draft off some of these students where they can have an education. Maybe that's something, you can start, as being a veteran, talking and speaking on discipline. Some experience that you have gotten out of the military, you can share it with youngsters and younger people, to maybe it'll be able to help them. We need peer-to-peer contact. When a child knows that he's going to a therapist, he knows that he's going to an elder adult. He knows he's not going to someone his age that's going to talk to him or her. He's going to an elder adult, and that sometimes can shut that child off mentally,
Yep.
right away. But maybe we need a peer-to-peer contact of communication that we can have for children of young age, just in speaking to them about what they're going through, because they tend to go through different things. They need these younger counselors for themselves. Peer-to-peer contact is the best contact, I feel, for any student. When Charles was young, he had peer-to-peer contact, whether his decisions were, or whether his decisions at that time were ones that he felt he needed to make. He didn't just go to adult and go running. He found people that was his age that he can communicate with, and that happens in a lot of youngsters when they veer off, when they leave home, some runaways, things like that. They go to people their age. Okay, so that's something we may need to talk a little bit more about, to the community and others here on our network, to kind of bring out a little bit more closeness to the parents so that they can engage and communicate with Smart Black Woman TV to kind of help our children to do better and get better communication from them. And it's peer-to-peer contact. I would like more students to come onto the show and have comments. and tell us how they feel and what's been going on in these schools. What type of teachers do we have in these schools that we didn't have back then when we were going to school? Because we had teachers that they didn't take no mess from you.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And they put fear in you when you walked in the door, so therefore your behavior was on point as soon as you walked in the school on the school grounds.
They
I
sure
got
do.
one of my
My
friends,
mama had to
one of
take
my
me
child
out
who
of
graded. Huh? You say what, Charles?
Mom, you had to take me out of Catholic school because they was whooping my ass so much I couldn't even learn no more. It, so
God dang.
for real, that's back when teachers were actually whooping our butts. Like they were whooping for real. If we got on their nerve, like a child gets on their mama nerve, they would literally whoop us with the same ruler they was teaching us how to count inches with.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm for real. It gave me a different respect for school. It really
Hmm?
did. But I said, okay, y'all whooping my child more than he's learning. So
So do you think
so I
so
had to go.
Charles, so from your standpoint, you think discipline should be back in the school when it comes to paddling?
Well, I'm not getting permission to whoop your child. But once a teacher is teaching a child for a whole school year or even one semester, that's enough for that teacher to be good in that child's life. Let's put it like that. If a teacher is teaching your child for one semester, they in that child life. Whoever is in that child's life, I think they have the right to tell them no, and you're doing wrong to discipline them to an extent. Of course, you
Yeah,
don't want to abuse a child, but
exactly.
I don't want to be responsible for a child that I can't tell to sit your ass down. I don't want to be responsible for that child if I can't say that to you, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's kind of like a double-edged sword. A lot of parents these days, if the child goes back and tell the parent that, oh, the teacher chastised me today and made me feel some type of way, and the parent is calling back, and hey, that's an opportunity to see what that child's problem is. Number one, obviously, it's the parent, but yes, I believe in a teacher disciplining a child. It's important because they're like a second parent at this point. And at some point, these teachers are more present in a child's life than their own parents. So
how you feel about that, Ebony?
I never
I know a lot of
experienced.
parents that send their kids to school because they tired
I
of their child.
I never experienced like getting hit by a teacher, but my mom has given teachers permission to. Hey, if
If she
Ebony
gets her
does this,
line.
you can.
What
So
about how do you feel about that with your own child?
so with Caden's teacher,
Hmm.
I respect her because when I met her, I can already feel the type of energy she had. So I was looking like, Caden got one time, and you can. And she was looking at me, and I looked at her. So his when you it's just you gotta vibe with certain teachers and know where they're at and know what type of energy and level that they're
Right,
on because you'll respect them and see them differently. And his teacher gave me that kind of respect. I was looking like, yeah, you can go ahead.
right. Yes, yes, I
Yeah, you
understand
can.
that. Because you know what? I was a student, I had good teachers and bad teachers in the same. I think the bad teachers rubbed also a little stronger with me when it comes to my children. I do want to know that, as you said, you have to vibe with me when it comes to my children and the discipline that I allow you to put on them. I know my children too. Everyone knows their children. They know
Yes.
when they misbehave. They know if they're smart mouth. They know if they're sassy. They know that. And they need to give that rule to the teachers to the point where you put him or her in their place when time for education and to be serious. I think that's something that we can all agree with. But that's a good communication. I think, as I was speaking on behalf of military and counseling and peer-to-peer contact, very important. It's something that we may need. We may need that also with parents, to speak to one another. Friends, you have friends that have communications. They're going through issues. They have bad attitudes. I had a friend that, I had a couple of friends that had bad attitudes as we were growing up. I talked to them and told them when they were wrong and things and changes they needed to make within themselves, which also today made them better people and still my friends. And I think it's something that we all need to try to share amongst us and people we hang around with every day, friends, people we come in contact and we befriend, to try to see what type of people they are with behaviors that they may take on. You can communicate with them, try to make it better, because all in all, we try to love on one another. And that's something that we're going to share on. We're going to close today's show with loving on one another, being more positive and putting more positive words out there, not be so boisterous and so much negativity. The toxic communication has gone on long enough. We all need to settle down. We need to choose the love of our lives and choose them wisely. If you're with someone, you're doing some cheating, parents, going through a lot of issues, children's breakups, all of those different things, they affect your children as well. These children a lot of them are hurt because of many different things. If you need to reach out for communication, for help, financial help, whatever it may be, reach out to those who will help to love you. Again, thank you so much for joining me in Smart Black Woman TV. It was nice to have all of you today. Charles, Ebony, you can close out. Bye-bye, y'all.
Work hard, spread love.
That's all.
Peace, everybody.
Programs like this are made possible by Neighborhood Planet Broadcasting Systems, Neighborhood Planet Network, iBlisters Digital Media Creative, and from contributions to NPNTv from viewers